Welcome back to another episode of On the Subject. I'm your host, Mike Villardo, co-founder and CEO of Subject, Subject.com, Subject.ai. You know where to find us. And today we have an incredibly special guest. We have an icon in the baseball influencing scene. He has influenced so many lives and is an incredible coach with unmatched passion. He's comes from all the way over in Brooklyn and Coney Island, New York, but now he's in the San Francisco Bay Area. Coach Ferber, Jason Ferber, we're so excited to have you today. Thank you for joining the show.
Appreciate you having me, my guy.
Yeah, welcome. You're pumped up. Let's go.
Man, these guys doing right over here. Look, they got their own special little On the Subject podcast.
On the Subject. Yeah, you're on the subject today. We're really excited. And so, we really love what you're doing for kids. We're here to be able to help young minds and young students. But what made you so passionate about coaching baseball? How did you fall in love with the game?
I think growing up in Brooklyn, I'm from Coney Island.
Yeah. Sebastian Telfair.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot growing up. And so one of the things, when you have no money, I think one of the things that you're looking for as a young kid is confidence in doing something. You want somebody to clap for you or something that makes you feel good about yourself. And I grew up in the 80s, so it was like breakdancing was just starting to be a thing. I was an okay breakdancer, but I wasn't like elite, right? There was kids doing graffiti, all these little subcultures, right? And drug dealers, athletes. There's all these different subcultures you kind of choose and you try out and see where you fit in. And I had an older brother that was 3 years older than me, and I felt like I had a knack for squaring up a ball, regular stickball games and wiffle ball games in the neighborhood, And when you have no money, your currency for socializing with kids is, can you add value on a neighborhood pickup game? That's really all you have. Back then, it was a lot different. I wish more kids these days could experience that feeling of no parents being around.
Yeah.
No umpires, no authority figures. Just be you, be free, talk, say whatever you want to say. Because once you introduce perfect game scouts, PBR people, umpires, evaluators, coaches, parents, grandparents, watching every move you make on a baseball field, you play differently.
Yes.
You act differently. You say things differently. And there's a time and place for that. But I feel like the game itself, whoever created it, and I know that a couple of guys got credit for it. I know Doubleday, but there's another guy.
Who do you think created baseball?
You know what? I've heard some stories about this other guy named Paul something from England way back.
So it's Doubleday versus Paul in England.
Yeah. So now that's it's a lot of hearsay involved.
Yeah.
You can Google it, but I think that you'll find it hard to get who exactly had the idea of. They went out there one day, probably just a couple of guys like me and you, and somebody just said, you know what? I got a little,
see if you can hit it.
A hacky sack or some kind of bean bag, right? A stick, and just said, I'm going to throw this. See how far you can hit it. We'll put the bases over here. It's crazy how the mathematics, how they did it so perfect on a baseball diamond.
That's
beautiful. Pretty crazy to me.
90-degree angles everywhere. So you started with stickball. Do you know the exact location in New York you were playing?
Of course.
Let's give it a shout out. Where is it?
Seagate, Coney Island. Shout out to my boys in Seagate over there. And I went to PS 188.
Let's
on Neptune Avenue. I spent a lot of my summers, every summer, growing up on the boardwalk in Coney Island, riding rides, a Cyclone, eating Italian ices, Nathan's hot dogs, that whole thing.
Yeah, July 4th every year. Shout out Coney Island.
Oh, yeah. They got the hot dog eating contest.
Yes,
now, when I was growing up, it was like a crack epidemic. you go over there, you get robbed. You don't want to go outside without a gun. But if you're not from that neighborhood, you wouldn't hang out. But ever since I think they introduced Kobayashi and what's the other guy's name?
Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut.
Two legends.
Yeah, you start bringing hundreds of thousands of tourists to that same location, and they don't want tourists getting robbed, so the police presence gets upped, and the neighborhood actually starts to get a little bit better. And now I think it's a lot safer than it used to be.
So what ended up happening with your baseball career? You played stickball. You played at PS 188. Where did you end up going to high school? How was your high school career?
I went to
Lincoln. Oh, so you are Sebastian Telfair in the baseball version.
Exactly. I ended up also. I had major issues with, I think, following the wrong groups of people. So I was a guy
It's hard.
that got in a lot of trouble growing up and was definitely on the wrong path. And so my uncle, who lived in the Bay Area, Jeff, who's also from Brooklyn, he's from Sheepshead Bay.
Very cool.
He moved to California, and he said, hey, nothing good is going to happen from you hanging out with the people you hang out with. You're getting kicked out of school. You are constantly getting into fights and into trouble. Why don't you come over here and live with me? You can get a job, go to a JUCO in California, and you can start over. kind of thing.
Did you play baseball, the JUCO?
Yeah. I
Oh,
walked
nice.
on
Let's go.
at this place called Kenyatta College.
Oh, that's a beautiful field.
Yeah,
That's
it's really nice
that's
field.
unbelievable. I went to the Stanford camp many years ago, a long time, and they actually have some of their games at that field.
Yeah, I was there in 95 and 96.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And there was a lot of guys that I actually played with. So you know the Alou brothers?
Yeah.
So Moises Alou's younger brother.
And then Felipe, the coach. Yeah.
Yeah, Felipe Alou Jr. was our center fielder.
Let's go.
Yeah, he was a center fielder from DR, and it was cool back then. I felt like it was a really cool opportunity for me to, especially being in the junior. A lot of people have a bad stigma about community college or junior.
I'm a community college grad. Proud.
Yeah, and I think it offers. It's a transition.
Yep.
Right. It offers a cool transition for kids like myself that didn't really know how to cook,
Yep.
clean, take care of myself, manage my time.
Yep.
And it gives you kind of a little bit of time to kind of regroup and kind of figure out how to do those.
Yeah, why do you think there's so much pressure on kids to go D1?
I think a lot of it is clout chasing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
And I mean, I don't know if I try to picture I try to put myself in young guys' shoes these days. Yeah. And when I see stuff on social media, like for instance, a baseball player posting an offer from a school.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, let's talk about that. Back in our day, that never happened.
No, that was a football thing. I think they post offers. I got an offer, I'm going to post it.
Yeah.
Baseball is always a little bit more like humble, be classy, and don't post anything that would make you come off as arrogant or
because you could almost lose other offers by doing that. If you posted someone's offer after the visit, they're thinking you're shopping the offer.
Yes, and it's just something that players don't do, and now it's gotten to a point. If you looked recently, people are actually posting decommitments as if they're an accolade or something.
Yeah,
hey, just to let everybody know, I'm decommitting from this school.
Yeah, they're like LeBron in the decision. They're opening up their recruitment again.
Yes. And I, as crazy as it looks to me to post something like it's an accolade when it's a decommitment, I understand and I get it that the way the system is set up right now, it is extremely transactional.
It is.
And you have to look out for yourself. It's basically every man for himself at this point. There's 5,000.
So what do you tell a high school kid right now? Well, let's do actually the high school and college. So, hey, any of your potential players you're mentoring, like what do you tell a sophomore in high school right now? How do you go about recruiting?
So the same guys that 10 years ago, I would be pushing to go to the ACC and SEC if they were, I don't know, as a junior in high school, I don't know, 88 to 91 miles an hour on the mound, with the 3 pitches they can command and things like that. Those guys don't even get a sniff anymore.
Yeah, because it's all older now.
It's older, and you have guys that are already, people are looking for turnkey situations. Yeah. It's not about, college used to be a place where it was truly about development.
Yeah, not anymore.
No, your coaches were there to help you.
Well, you heard what Signetti said, who is a great coach, and he said production over potential. And they're kind of taking that everywhere now. And so you would probably advise this student athlete to maybe go smaller D1 and then transfer up.
Correct. Lower
get the playing time in.
Yes. And there's different avenues to get to the same end goal. There's a lot of different avenues. If you look at the numbers of where guys get drafted and who they get drafted out of, it's not some overwhelmingly SEC.
Yeah, it's not anymore.
No.
I mean, let's talk about Mason Miller, for instance. The guy in the Padres. Yeah. He was D3. So do you think that now it's really just about getting the playing time in? Like, you can't ride the bench? Or do you think there's good lessons to riding the bench? Like, how do you mentor these young people?
Well, there's a couple of questions that I like to ask young players when it comes to picking college programs that would match not only the physical skill set and tools and the academic profile, but also there's a big one that people miss is their personality.
Okay, talk about that. What does that mean?
So you could have the same 2 kids coming from Brooklyn, New York, with play the same position. Say they're middle of the field guys. Yeah. They got their tools out, and they can both play maybe in the SEC level or ACC level or Power 4.
Talented kids.
Talented kids. But one kid loves the city and the bright lights and all this stuff. He loves all the different Italian food and Jewish food and Arabic food. He loves all of it.
I love it.
He likes the energy. And another kid that grew up in New York says, you know what? I don't like this anymore. I want to go to the country and just ball out somewhere away from everybody. I might want to go to some university that's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
West Virginia.
And they're killing it. They're hosting a regional this weekend. Let's
Absolutely.
go. Yeah.
You know, that these type of places, they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
But once you get there, it's, a lot of people, a lot of kids find that would be a great experience for them, where same physical profile, just totally different personality, which equals a completely different experience. That's why you have to, what I say to my guys is, you're looking at the roster, and I'm not even, you could call it, I don't know, you're not going to call it when you're looking at even races of people.
Okay.
If I am a Dominican kid from the Bronx, right, and I look on a college roster and it's 35 white kids from Georgia and Florida and Louisiana.
Not as inviting of an environment.
Yeah, it's not even about racism at that point. It's not. It's just you feel
like
comfortable.
You're talking openly about how do you have the best environment for you to be successful and happy.
Correct. Who aligns with your views in another way? Or what do you like the size of the student body? And the biggest number one rule for me is, if baseball wasn't a thing, if COVID happens.
You're talking to me all the way there. Like we always say, and again, it sounds like we have a lot of alignment, but I want to dive more into these opinions to pick the best academic school for you. We're an education company. We're very passionate about it. And so we're always like, whether it's D1, D2, D3, JUCO, whatever the best education is, go there. Obviously, that's a blanketed statement, but we really do believe you have to take a different approach in saying, hey, I'm going to go where my coach wants me to go, or I'm going to go, to your point, like where I get the most scholarship money. Like, it doesn't always work that way. If you were a player again today and you were a top 500 recruit, what are the two schools you'd go to? I'm giving you two to be friendly. Two, like if you're like, hey, you're the number one player in the state of New York, you go anywhere you want. What two programs would you choose?
Well,
there's a lot of good programs.
There's a lot of good programs.
Like for your point with your personality.
Because I'm a top 500.
Yeah, you're top 500. You're PG National.
Any real baseball player that loves the game, I think, would agree that you want to go play baseball where you have the highest opportunity to play in the postseason.
Yep.
Because that's where the bright lights are.
So fun.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the average fan doesn't watch college baseball, but a lot watch the regionals. I mean, even the conference tournaments last week, I was watching everything. We're actually going to be going to the Austin Regional. That's where we live in our other offices.
Okay.
This is the time you want to be in. So keep going.
Well, it's just a matter of, if I'm looking at schools, and even though a school has a big brand name and it's, wow, that's shiny. If they haven't been to a regional in 10 years and there's a lower, maybe a lower D1, a mid-major, something, but they go to the postseason 11 out of the past 13 seasons.
Like Coastal Carolina, East Carolina.
Yeah, I want to personally play when the lights are the brightest, when it matters most. And that's not saying that, I'm going to sacrifice academics to a point.
No. I'm just curious. What programs are you fans of? Like where you're like, hey, these two programs, you know what? I would do anything to be 18 again and go there.
I'm trying to think before. I think Duke University. I know they struggled.
I love Duke.
I know they struggled this year. I know they struggled this year, but I know Corey Muscara for a long
Oh, you do?
time. Yeah.
We did a podcast with him.
He's a very good friend.
He's an incredible guy. We love him.
I go stay at his house and hang out and play with his kids when I'm
Let's
Of
go.
course. Yeah, we actually, I've known Corey since he was at St. John's.
Oh, nice.
So he was at Southern New Hampshire. He was at Southern New Hampshire. Yeah, he was at St. John's. He was recruiting my guys in New York and Brooklyn at St. John's under Blankmeyer.
Love this.
When he was the head coach for 25 years.
They had a great program in St. John's.
Yeah. Then he got promoted to the University of Maryland. Yep. He recruited more of my guys over there. Then
so you have a real relationship with a lot of these college coaches.
Oh, big time. Well,
you really understand what you're talking about from the recruiting.
They've been recruiting my guys for about 15 years. I have relationships. In my phone, I probably got 100 different. The guys that make the decisions, of who goes.
So what is the biggest red flag when a player is getting recruited? What do you stay away from?
As far as the
Is it like guaranteed playing time or what? Like, what is the thing that you're like, hey, I don't believe this when a coach tells you this?
Player feedback is very important at that level.
I like that.
It is, because what's helpful for me is that once you have a few cycles of guys that have been to all these programs and you have good relationships with them, college coaches, they're always going to sell you something. Yes. Right? And
that's their job. It's their job. They want to
get you to campus. They want to win. Agents are going to sell you on maybe why you should sign a pro contract rather than go to college. Everybody's selling you something. And generally speaking, players don't have filters. And you may get a different perspective and opinion from Dansby Swanson at Vanderbilt or the guy that played behind him.
Yes.
Right? You're going to get two different complete perspectives of this was a great experience for me. It changed my life. This was terrible. I never got to play. However, when you start getting feedback of guys that are bench players or not everyday starters, and they're saying, yeah, I might not be starting right now, but I see a path to playing time, and I'm getting feedback from the staff as to why I'm not playing.
That's good. Yeah, coachability is important.
Yeah, I want feedback from staff to give me some reason. What do you value in hitting? I want to know what you guys value so that I can work on it. I like to know when the staff says, these are the 3 things we value: quality at bats, hard hit average, and whatever, OPS, whatever you want to call it. Different guys have different things they value, right? But I want to have clear the ability, and that's why I think having a head coach like a Corey Muscara, there's a lot of them that are out there.
I'm a huge fan of Coach Muscara. We were very impressed with what he's doing, and it takes time with the program. He's got his first year here, but I think he's doing a great job. And to your point, that it can't beat the education at Duke.
No, 100%. I also love Matt Swope at University of Maryland. I love Rob Vaughn.
Maryland's killing it.
Yep, I love Rob Vaughn over at Alabama.
Shout out Alabama. They're hosting as well.
Absolutely. My
Great
boys
team.
Papio and Mo Green over there, the pitching. I call it Mo
Let's
Green.
go.
Yeah.
So what do you think the biggest difference is between East Coast and West Coast baseball?
Biggest difference is, one of the biggest differences, well, Northeast, I can tell you, is that I feel like pitchers don't shut down on the West Coast for nearly as long as the Northeast guys.
Just due to the weather?
Yeah, I think due to the weather and just like the timing of it. Normally I'll see pitchers on the East Coast shut down for 8 to 10 weeks sometimes, not pick up a ball, hang
But that's probably good, right?
I think it's good.
I think it's good for your arm. You see so many Tommy John now. It's probably just the overusage as a kid.
I do think so. I think some people will say your arm will rust before it wears out, so keep throwing. And other people will say you need to shut down for this period of time. And I'm not really certain if anybody knows. There's a bunch of different data and a large sample size of things to work on. I just think that when your main priority is velocity, you're going to see injuries.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you swing it, how you put it. If that's how you're showing progress, you're going to cause injuries that way. Same way as if we were looking to max effort bench press and get our PR in a weight room, you're going to see more injuries than if we're just doing mobility work and things like that in the weight room.
Well, so what would you say, though, to that? It sounds like you've really had some great players you've coached, and congrats on all the success. If a kid wants to come to you, hey, say, Coach, I want to throw 90 by my senior year, what's the most important thing?
So 90 by his senior year. What is he at right now? What is he, a freshman?
Let's say they're a freshman and they come in throwing 75. And like, hey, Coach, I need to add 15 miles per hour. To your point, it might not even be enough now. As a right-hander, you probably got to throw 92 plus. But let's say just 90 for the sake of the discussion. How do I get to 90 miles per hour during my high school career? Is it weightlifting, long toss? What do you do?
I think that it's the way that they're moving has a lot more to do with it. Also, how I would work on getting a clean arm path.
Yeah.
Because
then your arm speed improves.
That, and also there is a correlation. Guys that can spin the baseball, that can put a lot of spin on it, that usually adds up to more velocity later. So if I see a kid that he's in ninth grade, he's only 78, 80 miles an hour, but he can spin it.
Yeah.
And he's got a harder slider or something. Usually that equals velocity later. The thing is with the weighted balls and things, the last thing you want to do is put more weight on an already bad arm path.
Yeah, that's how you get hurt.
Yeah, so I'm not suggesting that weighted balls are bad.
No,
again,
that can be great with the right mechanics. They're incredible.
It's not about good or bad because it's a tool.
Yep.
And it's how you use the tool. If you OD on the tool, right? You whether it's a chainsaw, right? If you have a chainsaw, it can help you cut down that tree. If you know how to use it. If I don't know how to use it, I could chop my arm off.
Yep,
right?
That's
so
true.
So how you use the tool, I actually think that throwing lighter objects is more dangerous than a little bit heavier.
That's true because your arm goes faster too.
Yeah, you're artificially creating velocity and it's not sustainable. When you throw a football, it's a little heavier.
It is. That's true. That's why you see less injury with football.
Yes, and your legs are under you, can kind of adjust to a little more weight, and you're carrying it underneath you. I mean, obviously, if you throw a tennis ball as hard as you possibly can, that shit hurts. You know what I mean?
Bad. I do not like doing that.
It's not meant to be doing that. So I think guys that are chasing velocity also are becoming more one-dimensional, and the last thing you want to be labeled as is one-dimensional. Because when you're in there working on just velocity and you're in a facility, the things you can't work on in a weight room or in a facility are fielding your position, holding runners, throwing commanding secondary pitches and fastball counts. These are things that you can't work on in a facility.
So yeah, what's your take? I mean, I think, I mean, I'm in the camp of baseball. Playing games is super important. You sounds like you think game experience is where you got to make sure you're getting a lot of that experience over the summer, not just being in the facilities training.
Being in a facility is very useful, and I think facilities help. The weight room is great, and getting bigger and faster, stronger.
When should I start in the weight room?
I think that you could start at. I've seen kids at 5th, 6th, 7th grade start in the weight room, but just building a foundation. What the issue is in the weight room is there's no scoreboard. Yeah. I talked about this with Corey all the time. Yeah. It says you don't know if you won or lost in the weight room, right?
Because sometimes the strongest guy on the team isn't that good of a player.
Correct. If that was the case, all the bodybuilders would be great baseball players.
So true.
Right? That's not how it works. It's about putting on weight, but smart weight.
Yep.
I don't want to be a catcher that has in the 10th grade with a 2.2 pop time. It's pretty accurate throws to the bag. And I put on 10 pounds of muscle because everybody says, get bigger, faster, stronger. Now I'm stronger and I'm bigger, but I'm throwing a 2.3 pop time.
Yeah, it's not what you want. You're not going to
What's the point?
Recruiting.
Yeah, so it's about putting on smart weight, and I think that has to do with just if there's not a secret that I think everybody's looking for. There's no secret. There's no secret hitting drill. There's no secret.
There's no shortcuts in life.
There isn't. It's about consistent, hard work with a clear set goal, and that's how people become great. But I think that people are looking for quick fixes so much in the world, especially hitters, and this is why you have so much misinformation on the internet.
What's the biggest piece of misinformation about hitting? What's something you despise?
Something I despise is comparing players to other players that have nothing in common with those players.
That happens a lot. Tell me more.
It's called cognitive bias.
Yeah.
It's when me and you were both coaches.
Yep.
My favorite player is Ken Griffey Jr. Your favorite player is Reggie Jackson.
Okay.
And so you like the look of Reggie Jackson hitting a homer down on one knee and sinking into his legs. That's a righty swing.
Oh, the knee drive, yeah.
Yeah, something like that, or something. Well, pick a guy. You could pick Mike Trout. You could pick whoever you want. I like a guy that's a little more upright. Yeah. Maybe you like Juan Soto or Bryce Harper, way spread out, wide base, and you like to look at it. It looks strong to you. And maybe it even feels strong to you because that fits your profile. And it worked for you. So now every single guy that comes in, regardless of their age, height, weight, grip strength, body type, prior injuries, mobility, flexibility, literally nothing in common with this person, but you say, hey, we're going to try to put you on a split screen with Juan Soto, and you're going to do everything he does.
So I love where you're going with this. I'm even thinking about my own career. I went to 3 Division I programs before transfer portal. So University of Richmond first, and I was coming out as a star high school player, not a high school Harry, but the coach immediately changed my swing, changed my stance, and I lost all my confidence.
Of course.
Like, how do you coach players to have how do you advise a player who has a coach who's actually hurting them? Because that probably does happen every once in a while.
It happens more than you would think.
Yeah,
and it's a problem. I don't want to call anybody.
Oh no, you don't have to.
I will.
Okay.
because I like honesty.
Yeah.
And I like
coaches. A lot of coaches ruin kids' careers.
A lot of coaches are using the athlete as a tool to promote their hitting system.
Yep.
They care more about the hitting system than the person and the player. They could care less if a player's frustration level and their enjoyment of the game is completely evaporated as long as they continue down this path of trying all their drills that are specific to them.
Yep.
And I've seen like some guys that do the HLP stuff, the judge and teacher man and those guys.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, is that the reason why I question some of it, and I'm not saying that teacher man didn't give Aaron Judge some drills that could have helped him, because that's entirely possible, and good job. The issue that I have is that all the players that I've seen, other than Aaron Judge, that I've coached along the way that are really good players, professionals,
Yep.
we're not enjoying, like the core of what we're doing here in baseball is, what does everybody say? Having fun and competing?
I love that.
Is that the core of what most people would say? Having fun, it's a game, right?
It should be fun, yeah.
I've seen a lot of guys, the fun becomes drained out of them when they chase this imaginary feel, that it's not their feel.
I completely agree. I had that happen to myself.
So it happens to a lot of baseball players, and it comes from coaches that are well-intended. The coach is not trying to make the kid frustrated, but he's asking him to move a certain way that's outside of the player's movement profile.
Yep.
He might balance on his right foot more than his left foot, but he's asking him to balance on his left foot. For what reason? Just because he likes the way it looks. It has nothing to do that. I don't like the fact that it's not data driven. And I don't like all the data, but I like for somebody to say to me, you swing this way and you hit a ball with your optimal swing, and this is the result. Now you try it my way. That's a little more frustrating or a little more awkward or whatever. If the numbers say you're hitting the ball harder, continue.
Yep.
But if the numbers don't say that, or you're actually going down, a coach continually trying to force a deliberate move.
Well, they want to take credit for your success.
Of course. But who actually has had success in that? Have you seen who have you seen? What players other than Aaron Judge?
No, and I mean, that's one thing I think is so cool about baseball is that you actually can have, and you do if you look it up, so many different unique stances have great success.
Yeah.
And so when you make a cookie cutter approach to a player's career, I just don't like that approach. I completely agree with you. So, like, how would you handle that? Like, what should a player or parent do? Like, if you act out, then you might sit on the bench. Like, how do you navigate that situation?
Well, the whole point is, like great players, they don't chase outcomes. They operate off
the process.
They love the process, right? So what happens is, if you take a model and you say, Barry Bonds is the model, that's the pinnacle. Which is fine.
He is amazing.
He's great. My favorite favorite hitter of all time, right?
I think he's the best hitter of all time.
Yeah. So if you say Barry Bonds is the goal, that's who we want to get to. But you tell them the way to get there. What's the in your opinion? What's the most important part of development to get to an end goal? What's the most important to get to Barry Bonds? Is it the training?
I would say the reps, yeah.
The reps and the practice. How you're thinking. Right. So Barry Bonds has said multiple times that he's done none of these sets of drills.
Yeah, I love that.
He's trained conventionally.
Yeah.
Right? He did a bunch of drills.
as possible.
Yeah, he trained conventionally.
Yeah.
So why would you say to somebody, this is the goal, but completely ignore how the person got to that goal?
Yeah.
And say, why would your set of drills that you give to everybody, which you said will work for Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge can mishit a baseball as hard as the MLB average exit velo. If you can't mishit a home run, then I don't want to use him as the model. For me personally, I'd rather take a Bobby Witt Jr. as a model that's a more normal-sized human being for a young kid.
Yeah, like, or even someone like, smaller, like a Dustin Pedroia, or like, how'd they maximize their potential?
Sure.
I completely agree. I mean, but to bring it back to some of your players, and you talked about it earlier with the transfer portal, like, what are you telling those kids right now?
The transfer portal?
Yeah, how are you? Like, what's your take on the transfer portal right now?
So, again, transfer portal is a tool. We always go back to this. It's not right or wrong. It's how you use it. And so I had a couple of my players that were at a certain school this year, and I get calls from them all the time, the guys that we've placed in those schools. And like I had a kid say, hey, I'm thinking about transferring. Okay.
Did he enter the portal?
Tell me why. Well, he called me before he did.
Okay.
And he was in the Big East. Yeah. He was at a school in the Big East.
Great conference.
Freshman, and he was playing.
Oh, wow.
Got some starts. And was playing a decent amount. He said, I'm thinking about going to the portal. I said, why? What's the problem? He goes, well, nothing really. I just kind of want to see what's out there.
Ugh.
I go, what do you mean what's out there? He goes, I don't know. So you want somebody to tell you you want somebody to pat you on the back, and you want somebody to, yes, you want somebody to, what do they say that, like, validate you.
Yeah, the
right?
External validation.
Yes.
Yeah, external validation.
I said, and he goes, well, also, I said, do you like your coaches? Yeah, the coaches are pretty cool. Do you like your teammates? Yeah, they're cool. And you're playing? Yeah. So you're going to look for 10 grand or 20 grand from somebody, and you're going to get taxed at 30 or 40% from that, and you're going to blow that in a couple of weekends and buying clothes, and then you're going to be starting all over again from scratch at this new place. That's what you want to do? And then it goes to, well, the culture here. Some of the seniors, they do whatever they want. They go party. All the freshmen are set different standards than the freshmen and all this. It's the culture. I said, well, let me ask you something. At a certain point, when cultures change, there's a player somewhere or a group of them that come in and go, hey, listen, I don't care what the culture's like here. Now I'm here.
Yeah.
Me and you, Mike, and you are going to change it. You guys hop on board with us. We're going to change this thing around. At some point, some players have to do that. Yeah. You can't just always blame coaching staffs for culture. Players create culture, and you need a group of guys that the majority of them are moving in the same direction, and you need some guys to blow some people up sometimes to get them unrighted. But if you don't have those type of guys walking around, it becomes a challenge. So I try to weigh out to them when I'm talking to them. I don't tell them what to do. I think they're grown men. They ask me for advice. I might if they say, what would you do? I'll give them my opinion. But I like to ask them questions that they might not have been thinking about. What happens if you take this 50 grand at this new school and you don't play at all, and now you don't get drafted at all?
Yeah, which is hopefully a lot more money than that.
Yeah. And the place that you're going now, you're moving up a conference. You have an All-American in your position that's a junior. Maybe he gets drafted, but what if he doesn't? Yeah, you're not playing, right? And so you just try to give, I think, good orderly advice, and I think you try to. It's really tough these days because the same things we used to tell kids about being committed and accountable, and when you make a handshake with somebody and say, I'm coming to your school, you go, it's not like that anymore. And if you're the only person doing that, you're actually the one that's. I had a kid I knew that went to Vanderbilt.
Great school, incredible program.
But he was there for a long. He could have transferred in the transfer portal. He stuck to his guns, but he was getting hurt, get a couple of at bats here or there. But I believe if he went to another program, he probably would have gotten drafted.
Wow, really? Okay, so talk about like that circumstance. What do you think? Just his confidence got shot because he wasn't playing enough? Or?
I just think that in baseball, you need performance stats to be able to get drafted.
100%. You definitely.
It doesn't matter if you go to Vanderbilt. Like you might be able to go if you play for football in Alabama, or Ohio State, or one of these crazy football schools, and you're 6'8", 350, and you can move this fast in a 10-yard burst. You might still get drafted and go to the league, even if you're a bench player.
That much,
you might. I've seen that could happen because it's not so much based on performance. Yep. But in baseball, I feel like I have a kid that I work with, Richie Palacios, that I've known since he's real young.
Awesome.
He grew up in the same neighborhood. He grew up in the same at Park Slope in Brooklyn where I lived
let's go.
for a long
Brooklyn.
time. Yeah.
Park Slope's amazing.
Yeah. And him and his brother Josh, they took a little bit of a different route, JUCO route. Yep. The other one, Richie, went to Towson University.
Yeah, a good D1 program with Matt Tyner.
Yeah, I know Tyner. Yeah, he went there.
Good coach.
And he probably could have tried to get in the ACC, and he could play at that level. It's just that being 5'7", 165 in high school, they look at you and go, I don't think you have the size to play in this conference, but I can play. Yeah, we don't think you're going to be able to withstand the game, the season with your durability. They come up with all these things. All the excuses. So he ended up going to Towson, and he was getting recruited at Pitt. I remember he drove to a showcase there, went like 8 for 11 with a couple of doubles and a triple, made all the plays. And at the end, when it came time, do I get an offer? Same thing. We don't think you have the size to play in this conference. Well, wait a second. You knew my height and weight before I drove 7 hours from Brooklyn. What do you mean? Why am I here? That's everything. So he's like, all right, cool. He goes to Towson University, shatters the home run record, the all-time hit record, the stolen base record at his little conference.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting drafted in the 3rd round by the Cleveland Guardians. Yeah. And meanwhile, not one shortstop at those schools had been drafted in that same time. So
Rom is high.
yeah, so what the point? And he's an everyday big leaguer now.
Yep.
Plays on the Tampa Bay Rays.
Incredible. They're
Yeah.
having a great year.
Yeah, those guys, they
This is one of your guys.
he's one of my guys. Yeah, I've been with him been hitting with me for 10, 11 years in the off season. We've done all types of different stuff together.
That's amazing. Do you still train with him today?
Of course, he comes in the off season. We'll generally link up and do motor preference assessments. Try to do little tweaks and fine tuning to.
And this is all in the Bay now, or back in New York?
We meet up at different places. So
Are you bi-coastal? Or?
yes, Matt Swope, I was telling you about before, at University of Maryland, he introduced me to this really cool system called motor preferences.
Okay.
And all it is basically optimizing your setup, maxing out your coordination and your balance. So you're trying to find the setup.
Yep.
It's not about anything else. We're like trying to find the starting point of what your optimal setup is, because everybody says it doesn't matter how you set up. It matters where you are at contact.
Yeah.
But it sounds good, but that's not accurate, because how you set up will determine how short and direct you'll get to the ball.
Yep.
So if your setup is not optimal for your own coordination.
I like how you always bring it back to your own coordinate. Like,
Correct.
Like for your body type, for your athleticism.
Correct.
This is what it means.
Right. If you're not maximizing, because we balance to see. Also, we don't see to balance.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing too with the big. Like, you really want to be able to see the ball well. You got to have good eyesight vision.
Yes.
You think getting ready early is important, or no? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think slow and early.
Slow and early. Yeah.
Slow and early is for baseball players. I think is good. I think also having one gather or one load.
Not a double clutch, double hitch.
One load that produces like a lot of different swing paths or infinite amount of swing paths. So I'm not changing the timing of when I'm starting my gather, but I'm just holding it a little bit longer for guys that throw a little slower. Yeah, because I think at younger ages, I see this a lot.
It's so hard when you have the person who throws super slow.
Yeah, because you never see those type of situations when you get to college or professional. Everybody's throwing the same. Yeah, you're not going to see one kid throwing 66 and then the next kid throwing 83.
Yeah, that's hard growing up.
It is. So those kids will think, oh, he's throwing slower, I'm going to start my load later.
Yeah.
Or he's throwing faster, I'm going to start quick. And so I think that gets confusing, especially when pitchers have different speeds and locations they can put the ball. So I like to teach one gather that produces a lot of adjustability. I don't like the idea of trying to produce, actively think about trying to produce a certain move. I think a lot of guys, especially even in the HLP guys, what they're doing is they're sacrificing adjustability to sell out on launch quickness. So that's all you're doing is you're sacrificing adjustability to sell out on, I just want to be quick, And so,
what age do you think kids should start playing travel baseball?
I think kids can start playing travel baseball. Well, I don't like the really, really young guys playing it because I think it strips a lot of the.
What's young? 8, 10, 12?
I think 11 or 12 could be a good time to start doing it if kids start, you're trying to keep these teams together, and that's never going to happen because different kids go through puberty at different stages. So you're never going to keep a kid.
12-year-old who's 6'2".
Yeah, you're never going to keep a kid, keep a team together, especially because just some kids get better at different physical windows of development. However, I like the sense of community and being from a certain town or city or something. It gives you some pride about where you come from and things. Yeah, if I start, look, I didn't take a plane to play baseball till I was in college. I never took a plane. These kids take a plane at 10 to go play a baseball game. At 10, to me, I'm not saying it's bad. And if that's how you choose to spend your vacation and your money, I'm not going to judge you for that. All I'm saying is that if it's about the competition and that's what your argument is, there's no good kids around here. They just play kids that are a year or two older than you.
That's true. I always talk about if you can play up, you should play up and be able to be around kids. I completely love that. And back to where we're at with the transfer portal as well. What is like the highest NIL you're hearing these days for college baseball? Like, what's a star shortstop in the SEC commanding these days? What's market rate?
I know last year or the year before, I know Braden Montgomery to Stanford.
Oh, yeah, he transferred from Stanford to A&M.
Yeah, you need to get paid a lot of money to give up Stanford.
I was shocked.
I think it was $1 million. It was $500,000.
No kidding.
It was $500,000 right then for his junior year.
Yeah.
And then if he decided, like if he didn't get drafted super high, they said, if you come back your senior year, we'll give you another $500,000.
That's some good money, especially Texas, no tax. Obviously, you got some tax, but no state tax.
And the facilities and Stanford campus is considerably nicer than being in a backfield of extended spring training somewhere or rookie ball.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the number if you were to advise a high school player to say go pro versus going to college?
Well, it depends on signability and things like that. It depends on
Like if you get drafted and you're committed to Vanderbilt, and if I offer you $500,000, should you come play pro or you should go to Vanderbilt? So like, what's the number?
Well, I don't know if there's like a set number. I think that if a lot of families that are well off, that have money, some things I don't understand about that situation, which some people might say that I'm not making any sense. But one thing I don't understand is that a lot of kids recently have been putting these huge numbers out to teams and saying to their agency, I want 2.2 million or I'm going to college. And you basically just take yourself out of the whole entire conversation because people are like, $2.2 million, nobody's getting $2.2 million unless you're a top 10 pick or top, whatever. It's like, but to me, when families say, I have enough money to pay for college, we have enough money that he's not going to have to pay for school, we're very well off, so he's going to college unless he gets $5 million. My argument would be that most of the time, the reason why you don't take a lesser amount of money and skip college is because you don't have money and you're going to take your signing bonus and you're going to blow it, and you need about 4 years in the minor leagues, even on a fast track, to get paid.
Yep.
So you're spending this money that your signing bonus, you get taxed on it, then you buy your little car, you hook up your mom, and all of a sudden you're like eating ramen noodles and you're staying at the Clarion.
I agree. I talk about all the time, like, you wouldn't rather play in the SEC for 3 years, and if you don't get drafted after those 3 years, you weren't going to make the big leagues anyways. Like, if they're like, let's say a kid gets drafted, second round out of high school, and it's like, hey, I might not make it if I don't take this. Like, well, then you weren't that good anyways, and you need that degree even more.
Right. No, 100%. And I also think that but hear me out for a second. If you have if you have millions of dollars, and you truly don't need the money, even if you got paid $300,000, let's just say, people go, that's not a lot of money. And after taxes, what is that, 180, let's say?
California, New York, especially, if you're not getting much of that.
So I was asking recently, I'm 47. I was asking recently, when you have kids, you start asking about savings and retirement. You don't think about this stuff when you're young, when you're 20s. I don't think about Roth IRAs and things like that. You think about a SEP IRA. So we have to pay, when you get to our age, hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month taken out of your check in order for it to pay off, because you only got 10 or 12 or 20, 13, 15 years or whatever. So you have to put a lot more in. If you are 18 years old and you put $180,000 into that and you say, I'm not touching this for 20 years. Well, my family's filthy rich.
Yep. Yeah. Well said.
I don't need any money. My family can help me out. I can pay for things, and I have a little Toyota Corolla to get around when I'm playing minor league baseball. By the time you're 45 or 50, you're a millionaire anyway.
So you're almost like the inverse of the normal viewer. It's like, hey, if you're wealthier, you can take more of a risk on getting signed. But if you're not from a wealthy background, you should have an even higher bar.
Correct.
And go to college and get that education. So I like that's a good perspective. So when you think about that, when you're navigating the draft, there's a rumor that they're going to not allow high school kids to get drafted more. Have you heard this?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay, so what's your take on that? Yeah, so what I've heard, and this is what's fun to discuss with an expert like yourself, what I've heard is that they might go from 20 rounds to 10 and no high school athletes. To your point, maybe they end up like you get drafted after 2 years of college versus 3 right now. What would be your dream MLB outlook? Like, how would you structure the draft? If you were you're Commissioner Manfred for a day.
I like the idea of the Mike Piazzas of the world.
Yeah, 62nd round. Yeah. Shout out him. Great guy.
Hall of Famers. He's not around if that doesn't happen. And I feel
That's
like
an insane story. He got drafted as a favorite of Lasorda.
Yeah. I had a kid I coached for 4 years in high school. His name's Bobby Whalen. I just met him. He was in Las Vegas, and we hung out. Had some breakfast. And we reconnected. He went to UVA.
Yeah.
He was everyday starting center fielder. He hit 400 in ACC.
Wow.
But no homers.
Yeah.
No power.
Fast guy.
400, played elite defense, 400, hit 400. A guy that hit 400 in the ACC
That's insane.
10 years ago would get a shot somewhere.
Yep.
You'd get drafted. You get saying, look, we're going to put you out there. And maybe you end up being a Brett Gardner type of dude or somebody
great
like
guy.
that. Yeah. Somebody that can play elite defense, take runs away on D and swipe bags and do all this. He didn't get a sniff. Nowhere. Anywhere. And
Wow, he didn't even get drafted
nope,
at all?
not at all. And hit 400 in the ACC. This is last year.
Wow. Oh, so he's retired now?
Judge, he's just retired, not playing baseball
He
anymore.
didn't play independent ball?
No, and when I look at it, the model for, I guess, basically you're saying when they if they take the NBA model, you're basically, I think that it's a team friendly situation because what you're doing is you're eliminating your entire scouting bureau for amateur baseball. There is no more scouts
True. It's all
in
just
any high school,
college,
any city, anywhere.
Yep.
All you're going to do at that point is you're going to watch video and look at data on high school players.
Yep.
And you're going to focus
You have like a
all-
watch list, and then when
Correct.
you go to college, you
Yeah, but you're going to save a ton of money on your scouting bureau doing that type of thing. So it's, I think, more team friendly. I also think that there are guys that need a little time to figure it out, and some guys that even keep growing after 18. Not everybody shuts off at 18. You know what I mean?
No, I love that. So we're gonna get into some good discussion here. So we're gonna do this or that first. This is just comes right from your heart. You pick what you think is better. And
Okay.
we definitely want to see your feedback in this. So, ACC versus SEC.
SEC is obviously that's like the mecca right now. It's
Yeah, I agree. Wood bat or metal bat for developing hitters?
wood bat.
Wood bat.
Yeah.
Travel ball or high school ball? What matters more to college coaches?
Depends on the conference. If you're in a loaded conference, like if you're around here with Norco and Bosco, and if you're in here, you high school baseball matters.
Yeah.
You got guys out there throwing 90, like low 90s,
And
and you can.
SoCal is incredible.
Yeah,
baseball.
the issue that you don't have is it's hard to evaluate a hitter when the pitcher is not good.
They're facing 75.
Yeah.
80 all the
So
time,
the
their
travel
stats
ball,
are juiced.
yeah, the travel ball helps because the level of the pitching you can evaluate the hitters a little bit.
I like that. So if you're in a hotbed like SoCal, Texas, Florida, high school is going to mean more. But if you're in the Northeast, Midwest, travel ball is very important.
Right.
Showcases or game film, what gets a recruit more looks?
Game film.
Game film.
Sure.
D1 mid-major or D3 elite academic school?
D1 mid-major or D3 elite academics.
So let's call it playing baseball at MIT or playing baseball.
Bucknell?
At, what?
Like Bucknell or something.
Well,
That's
Bucknell's D1.
D1. Oh, that's D1, like a Patriot
So
League.
D3 would be like MIT, Williams,
Amherst.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. I like the competition level. I'm gonna take the higher level competitive baseball.
Oh, you're a baseball guy. I respect it.
yeah.
Exit velocity or batting average? What do coaches actually care about?
They care about batting average, runs scored. I mean, these are the type of thing coaches care about. I think the most important offensive stat to me is runs scored.
Run scored, yes. So
I don't-
RBIs and runs scored.
Yeah, I don't
How many runs are
personally.
you creating?
Yeah, and because as a coach, we're looking at team stats, and I think as an individual, when you're looking at individual player stats in baseball, you ask players, "What's your most important offensive stat?" They say OPS.
Yeah, that's all I thought you were going to go with it.
Yeah, but to me, first of all, a solo homer or a sac fly with a runner on third with less than two is the same result for me. I personally want to win games, so I don't. And that's not saying like, if my cleanup hitter went 3 for 4 with a homer and 2 doubles, and we lost, I'm happy for him, but I don't really care. You know what I mean?
And too, you have a lot of those merchants who get singles with nobody on, 2 outs at the end of the game, boost their stats, and it's like that didn't do anything for the team.
Yeah.
Got to step up when you're doing well. ERA or throwing velocity?
ERA is such a skewed thing now with all the different, like the length of games and guys coming. I think Wait, are you talking about for what you're going to look for?
Recruiting. If it were
Oh, in
advising kids
recruiting?
recruiting,
And you're talking about
ERA or throwing velocity, what's going to get you more recruits? Like, is it having a 1.0 ERA or throwing 90?
do you command the velocity, or is it just throwing hard and there's no
Throwing
command?
hard, no command.
No, I'm going ERA at that point.
Cool. Stolen bases or 60-yard dash?
Stolen bases for sure. Base running is
What is a good 60-yard dash in your opinion?
for what position? At what age? Shortstop? At what
High
age?
school shortstop.
High school shortstop? I think if you're running like a 6'8", 6'9", you're in the
you can get
range.
recruited.
You're in the range. I think in college, I would say corner infielders, 7'0", 7'1", maybe 7'2", if you hit the power.
You got to hit bombs.
Yeah, if you don't hit for power, like I don't see a lot of college players that running 7'4", 7'5", 60s, unless they're like hitting moonshots all the time. It's not very.
It's hard.
Yeah,
I agree. So starting for a smaller program or riding the bench at a Power 4?
starting.
Get the playing time.
I need reps, man. I need to be on the field. I can't sit here and watch you play.
Yeah. Test score, so ACT, SAT, or GPA? This is all recruiting angle.
Test scores, or I think GPA, but when they weighted with the advanced with the APs, how many?
Which boosts your GPA? So you're saying take a rigorous course.
Yes.
Like that. Showcases or tournaments?
I think I'm not a fan of showcase. I think anybody can.
Why
because I can take you outside right now and get you a med ball and do a functional med ball throw.
Yeah.
I can measure out 60 yards and we can run it. I can measure how high your vertical jump is. I can take a pocket radar and see how fast your arm is. And so I can do all the things they're doing with no money. And then if your numbers say that you're going to notice, somebody's going to notice and turn somebody's head, then you and I can go there and do it. I think it's silly to go there and say, I'm going to a showcase when that's not, there's a different, you know, people want to go talk about exposure and you end up getting exposed.
Yep.
Because you're going there just wasting a lot of time and energy and frustration. I think tournaments, the reason why I think from a recruiting standpoint is that if all you do is get hits against average or below average pitchers, but when velo comes, you get blown away by velo, that's not going to help your cause. Yes. So if you can't turn around the best fastball at your level, it's very hard to move up to the next level. So if I was in a tournament setting, you can find a kid that is a D1 commit, and if you hit a line drive off that guy, it kind of answers all the questions that the college coaches have about what is it. Here you go.
It's really how you perform against the best competition.
Correct.
So, like on that note, is travel baseball ruining more careers than it's creating, or what's your take?
I don't know if it's ruining careers. I think it's creating a culture of a lot of, I think, clout chasing.
Yeah.
I think that kids put way too much energy into what other people think about them, opinions of people of where they're ranked, why they're ranked certain places. And I get it because we all...
So many rankings now. Yeah, you're right. So, because there's Perfect Game and Prep Baseball Report, the two big ones right now. Are there any others you want to shout out as rankings?
Yeah, well, Team USA doesn't rank players. They just pick a team for Team USA.
And what's the youngest age for Team USA now?
Well, I think they have like 11 and 12. 12U maybe development teams and things, but once you get to 14, you can get in their PDP, which is like a player development pipeline.
That's the big one.
Yeah, I think they do a good job, and I think that because it's very select, I think that it matters. I think a lot of college coaches do value the USA baseball staff because generally they have a little more experience than maybe a Perfect Game or PBR might have younger guys rating people, and a lot of people think that the more perfect games and the more money you spend, it can kind of help your ranking.
Yeah, I know. I don't love that. I think that's a little bit messed up with that. Do you think college coaches actually care about academics?
Some do, yes. I think some do. I think there are guys out there that they realize that the degree and the education, they know that some guys are not going to get drafted, and it's important that they get there.
Most guys aren't going to get drafted. Yeah. So when you think about the college game today, even versus 10, 15 years ago, but there's a lot more money in the game now, which is great. I think it's also, some of these programs get real fans. What type of environment would you want to play in front of? What is the best crowd you've seen college baseball?
Best crowd. I would think that Tennessee, those guys.
I know. I love that coach. I'm sad he left. What's your take on him?
Well,
Hello, you're right in his neck of the woods now.
yeah, I think that
Do you know him?
I've met him before.
Yeah, he seems really cool. I'm a fan from afar. I've never met him.
Yeah, I met him before, shook his hand. He seemed like a gentleman.
Yeah.
I think that it is, people have questions as how he's going to do as a big league manager.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
It's very different. Yeah, what are the biggest differences you think why he's struggling to adjust right now?
Well,
He doesn't get the control of the players.
I think in some ways it's easier. He's having a little adjustment, and I think he'll be fine once he gets.
I'm rooting for him. Coach Fratello, if you ever want to chat.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay long term. I just think that, number one, the reason why it's easier is because, there's a lot of recruitment that goes on in college. You don't do that in the big leagues.
You don't.
Somebody just brings you a player and says, hey, we got this prospect. He's a first rounder. Go take care of him. Then you just manage him. And so there's no, like, in college, glad handing with donors and boosters and things. There's a lot of stuff as a college head coach. That's a very hard position. Yeah. You have to get money for your program. You have to recruit guys. You have to look at the transfer report. You got a million different things.
NIL budget.
Yes. So from that perspective, but also managing personalities, I think in the big leagues there's the guys are obviously, big leaguers have a certain way about them that you kind of have to, I don't want to say tread lightly, but in the minor leagues, if you look at a graph on like how much coaching matters in the minor leagues, right? You would say, like, you see this thing go up like this, like on the graph, where coaching actually matters more.
Yep.
As soon as this player is in the big leagues and he's making more money than this manager, you see like that instruction kind of taper off because you got him here. It's like, hey, now don't mess him up. Right, so now you're taking you kind of put the brakes on as far as coaching him up as much, and also because you're afraid you might mess him up. And the last thing you want to do is to have your franchise player or some big league all-star say, "This dude told me to do a drill, and now I'm 0 for 25, and I can't."
Fired.
Yeah, you're getting fired before that guy. So a lot of times they back off of it, which I feel like I don't think it's the best model. I actually feel like the best model for, if I was in the big leagues, if I was in like a player development setting, farm director, something like that, one of the things I never understand about a lot of these different organizations is you'll go to different levels, AA, single A, triple A, and all these hitting coaches have different philosophies.
Yeah.
I never understood that. And you go, wait, like at one point, I think Driveline or somebody, they were with the Yankees or somebody, they took all the tees out of the minor leagues. Said, you can't hit off a tee. We don't hit off a tee. Because it was about swinging harder and basically creating egg velocity and more off of hack machines and seeing velo, right? And seeing velocity.
What's your take on that?
For me personally,
you like the tee?
I love the tee because the tee, what the tee is, and I think people get this misconstrued a lot. The tee is to a hitter. What have you ever seen a pitcher that throws 100 miles an hour just walk out to the mound and throw 100 miles an hour?
Oh, they got to warm up.
Yeah. Play light toss, stretch his arm out a little bit, slow down, breathe a little bit. Now he's going to feel the ball come off his fingertips, make sure it's spinning right, spin a couple of breaking balls. Here's a changeup, and you warm up. That's what the tee is for hitters. It's a warm up. It's so that we can slow down and feel things that you can't feel at game speed.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
How do you make an adjustment at game speed?
You got to get warm.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we get to a couple of these incredible debate questions while we still have you.
Sure.
So, best player in New York City history?
Wow. Best player in New York City, Manny Ramirez?
Okay, let's go. Shout out Manny. Hey, Mannywood here in LA. They loved him here.
Yeah.
Rate the top 3 college baseball conferences for development, not just wins.
Top 3 conferences for development?
For development. Top 3 conferences.
I think ACC, I want to say Big 12.
Big 12, okay. Hey, Arizona State's in there now. Good place.
And I don't know if SEC has the best development. They get the best players, but I don't know if development's a high priority. I'm going to say a lower conference, like a Big Ten or something, because you have to develop players.
Hey, shout out Big Ten. I played at Purdue. I don't know if you knew.
There
that,
you
but
go.
yeah, a
Okay.
long time ago.
Yeah, the UConns of the world, and different things like that. I feel
it. Let's go Big Ten. What are the 3 best summer wood bat leagues?
Cape.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. What are the next 2 though?
I heard the Northwoods is pretty good.
Yeah.
There is one, not the NECBL. There's another one.
Coastal Plains.
Coastal Plains, I think, is pretty legit. There was, I don't know if there was one in Northeast that I thought
Futures League.
could have been Futures.
Futures League's a good one.
Yeah.
What are the most underrated academic schools that have serious baseball programs?
Underrated academics. I mean, is UVA? I've not talked about.
UVA is incredible. I talk about all the time. Where
Yeah, I think they're top 25.
It's amazing.
People talk about
school.
Duke and Stanford and this and that, but UVA is like one tick below that.
UVA is amazing.
Yeah.
I love UVA. What's one recruiting myth that needs to die?
A recruiting myth?
A recruiting myth that needs to die.
Let me think about this for a second. A recruiting myth that needs to die.
Like,
Just play well and they'll find you.
Thank you. I so agree with that. Like people, if baseball,
They're not finding you.
yeah. Every high school in the country has a varsity team. Do the math on how many great baseball players there are. You got to get out there.
Yeah, because if the days of the dandy old scout going to the high school game and sitting in the stands with his binoculars, right? That's over. Yeah. Because why would I want to go look at, unless the guy's a highly touted prospect, everybody knows. So it's either 30 scouts with stalkers or nobody.
Yep, it's 30.
Right? So they want to just go to where there's more fish in a small pond they can look at. They want to see 10 potential guys at the PGA All-American game or Jupiter on the field at once rather than one guy over here or there.
I completely agree. What's one mistake most families make?
A mistake that a lot of families make is that they will try to basically use their money to manipulate the game in some certain way, meaning a dad that has some money and he's been training with his kid since he's 5 years old to play shortstop, and he goes to a team and the guy says, hey man, shortstop, I have a guy over there, but you can play second base. And he goes, nah, I think I'm going to go over to this other team. I'm going to keep looking for a team and just lower the level of competition until he can play shortstop, or he plays where he wants to play or hits where he wants to hit. I think that is a common thing for people, because you want your son to feel good about what he's doing. And a lot of times we attach ourselves to our kids' emotions. And so that, I think, is a dangerous one to go.
Yeah, respect.
Yeah.
Okay, and one final question. What's the best city in the world and or the USA for baseball?
Oh, for baseball? The best city in the world? Are you talking about professional, amateur, all
I'm
around?
saying amateur. Like if you were a pro
amateur?
scout and you're like, I gotta go spend.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm going right now over to see my boy Dylan Seward, who is the #1 ranked player in the 27 grad in the country.
Where's he
He's a
at?
switch hitting. He's at Norco.
Norco, okay.
He's going to play Bosco for the championship.
Oh, wow. When is that?
That is, I think, Saturday, Friday, because
Let's
they just
go.
put one in the semifinals. I think, so basically he is.
So you're saying SoCal is the place to be.
SoCal, I'm saying that like this is a hotbed. Did you see how many players that were drafted last year from California in the top 3 rounds?
Yeah,
There's so many.
You got to be in California. Hey, it's the place to be. What an incredible episode. Your passion is infectious. Where do we find you, Coach?
Coach Ferber on Instagram, Ferber.
Easy to find, legend, unbelievable chat, and please follow us. Click like and subscribe down below. We have more opportunities to bring incredible guests like Coach, and I cannot thank you enough. You're so amazing.
I appreciate you. Hey, I got one thing to leave them with.
Yeah.
A little thing to think about. People in life, I say this all the time to young players. People in life generally don't care about how much money you got or how smart you are. They care about how you make them feel when you're around them. So make people feel good, coaches, teammates, and everything, and you'll end up getting more help along the way.
Make them feel good. Let's go.
Stay crispy out there, my guys. Appreciate you, brother.
That was great.